Hey guys, welcome back. It's Tuesday, April 21st. Our goal for today is to finish our Ruthless reading guide. So we left off yesterday with slide number 5. Today we'll be picking up with slides number 6 and working our way through the very end to slide number 13. We're going to give our best work today because this is 100 informal points. That'll definitely have a big impact on your grade. So let's go ahead and open up our reading guide from yesterday. Remember, it looks like this, all colorful and beautiful. On slide number 6, or in the corner here, you'll see the blue number 4, because that goes with our reading task number 4. So first we've got to read this section, then complete the green stuff underneath. Remember to access the notes section. We look down here, and you'll see these 3 little faint dots, and then the hand icon will appear, and then you'll click and then drag it up so that you can see what's underneath. So again, our reading focus is characterization. So I know that as we're reading, we're looking for components of steel. In this section, I need to find 2 examples of Judson's speech. I need to find 1 quote that shows how he affects other people. I need to give him a character trait. And remember, I want to go back up to slide number 2 to access my character trait document. So I'll do that just by clicking on that image and then clicking on the link that appears below. So I've got my cheat sheet out and ready to go. It's categorized, so be sure to use that to help you out. That first page has a bunch of synonyms. The second page gives us all positive character traits, and then the third page gives us all negative character traits. So I'd like to know if y'all have noticed any patterns in the character traits that you have given Judson thus far in this story. Awesome. So now that we have that ready to go, we can go ahead and resume the traits, and then we had one last question underneath. So based on the dialogue, remember a dialogue is a conversation between 2 people, and we know that it's a conversation between 2 people because a dialogue usually has quotation marks surrounding what that person is actually saying. So based on the dialogue or the conversation between Judson, our main character, and Marcia, his wife, explain whether they have similar or different points of view. You have a sentence starter underneath there to help you. Judson and Marcia have blank points of view. So in there, after we're done reading, you should be able to tell me whether they are similar or whether they're different. And then, of course, you've got to explain. That's where your because comes in. Awesome. So let's go ahead and read together. Everything nice and handy, he remarked approvingly. Now, Mr. Thief, when you break in, drink hearty. I won't begrudge you this one. So remember where we left off yesterday on slide 5, Judson had dropped 2 tiny white pellets in his bottle of whiskey. So yeah, that brings us up to where we are right now. The woman's face was pale. Remember, the woman is his wife. Don't do it, Judson, she gasped. It's horrible. It's murder. The law doesn't call it murder if I shoot a thief who's entering my house by force, he said harshly. Also, the use of rat poison is quite legal. The only way any rat can get into this closet is to break in. What happens then is his affair, not mine. Don't do it, Judson, she begged. The law doesn't punish burglary by death, so what right have you? When it comes to protecting my property, I make my own laws. His deep voice suggested a big dog growling at threatened loss of a bone. So at this point, you might want to pause your video to complete your reading task for number 4, everything that's in green there. And when you are done, you can go ahead and meet me on slide number 7 or blue box number 5. Same thing, directions up top, we're going to read and then complete the reading task underneath. Let's see what it's asking us to do. Cool, we got 1 example of speech, 1 example of effect on others, a trait, remember, use your list that you've got right here. Do you agree with Judson's plan? Why or why not? Use that sentence starter. And do you think Judson's plan will be successful? Why or why not? Use that sentence starter below. I wonder what he's planning to do. But all they did was to steal a little liquor, she pleaded. Probably some boys off on a lark. They didn't do any real damage. That's not the point, he said. If a man holds me up and robs me of $5, it makes me just as sore as if he took 100. A thief's a thief. She made one last effort. We won't be here till next spring. I can't bear to think of that death trap waiting there all the time. Suppose something happens to us and no one knows. He chuckled once more at her words. We'll take a chance on that, he said. I've made my pile by taking chances. If I should die, you can do as you please. The stuff will be yours. It was useless to argue, she knew. He'd always been ruthless in business, and whenever anything crossed him, things had to be done his way. She turned toward the outer door with a sigh of defeat. I'll walk down the road and say goodbye at the farmhouse, she said quietly. You can pick me up there. She'd made up her mind to tell Alec's wife. Someone had to know. All right, folks, now's the time in your video where you can pause, go down to reading task 5 and complete everything that's in green. Once you have, meet me back here on our next slide. We are going to finish up reading the story and then finish up our last reading task before we do a little bit of summary and theme application. Okay, my dear, he smiled genially, and don't worry about your poor, abused little burglar. No one is going to get hurt who hasn't got it coming to him. As she went down the path, he started to close the closet door, then paused as he remembered his hunting boots drying outside on the porch. They belonged in the closet, so leaving the door open, he went to fetch them from the heavy, rustic table on which they stood, along with his bag and topcoat. Alec was coming up from the lake and waved to him from a distance. A chipmunk, hearing Judson's heavy tread, abandoned the acorn he was about to add to his store within the cabin wall and disappeared, like an electric bulb burning out. Judson, reaching for his boots, stepped fairly upon the acorn. His foot slid from under him, and his head struck the massive table as he fell. Several minutes later, he began to regain his senses. Alec's strong arm was supporting his as he lay on the porch, and a kindly voice was saying, You aren't much of a fall, Mr. Webb. You aren't cut none, just knocked out for a minute. Here, take this. It'll put you together. A small whiskey glass was pressed to his lips. Half dazed and half conscious, he drank. That concludes our story, so let's take a look at what y'all have got to complete now. So give me 2 quotes that show his most significant actions here. Give me a last character trait using your list. And then we've got a few different questions that we've got to answer here so that we can get the most out of the story, so we can really tie up loose ends. So first question here is, I want you to make an inference about the story's resolution. So what happened to Judson at the very end of the story? Use that sentence starter. I can infer that at the resolution of the story, Judson, what happened to him? Cool. Based on his plan. Think back to his plan. What did he want to do? What did you expect would happen? Based on Judson's plan, I expected that. Finish that up for me. Then, is what you expected more different or more similar to what actually happened? Use that sentence starter again. So what I expected would happen was more similar or more different to what actually happened because, and then explain to me why. And then finally, based on these 3 answers above, I want you to tell me what literary device is being demonstrated here. Think back to your pre-reading materials. So then you're going to explain using details from the story, of course, to support your answer. So based on my inference, I know that blank, what literary device, is demonstrated because, and then think about your answers to the questions up here to help you. Pause the video, use this as your working time, and then meet me back here when you're ready to move on to the next slide. So slide number 9 is kind of a blast from the past here. Although you didn't do it too long ago, you did this with your Hatfield and McCoy reading guide. You're going to use Somebody Wanted, But So Then. I've got your corny little video here if you want a refresher. If you want to just dance to Somebody Wanted, But So, because I know y'all do. And then in the green box, you are going to come up with a Somebody Wanted, But So Then to summarize the main event of Ruthless, the story I just read. There are some guides down here, some hints to help you out if you're feeling a little bit rusty with Somebody Wanted But So. Once you're done with that, move on to slide number 10. Meet me there. Ooh, we've got something to deal with theme. Take a few seconds, click play on the video, watch it more than a few seconds. You're going to watch the first 4 minutes, and then I want you in this yellow box here. Nope. not in the yellow box, I'm sorry, down in the notes section like we've been doing, I want you to record the first 4 steps that students should follow to determine or to figure out a theme of a text. So down here, give me step 1, 2, 3, 4. When you are done watching and outlining those steps, we can move on to slide 11. So done, we read the text, awesome. You're going to list some topics that are related to this story and add it to the list that I've started in the notes below. So I've already given y'all some topics you're going to add to it. Next step is you're going to choose a topic and complete the sentence in the notes below about that topic. Cool. So scroll up. Awesome. Topics related to the story. What I've given you is revenge, materialism, and punishment. You should recognize these first 2 from your pre-reading stuff. I want you to give me at least 2 more topics. Then you're going to choose one of them, and you're going to use this sentence starter to complete the sentence about that topic. So the author believes, what does he believe about revenge? Or the author believes that revenge is what? It doesn't have to be revenge, of course. This is just your example. If you wanted to go with materialism, then you'd say, oh, the author believes that materialism is blank. So pause for a second, take your time to give me 2 more topics, and then complete that sentence about your chosen topic. We're almost done here. Next slide, step 4. All you're going to do now is delete the phrase the author believes to create your thematic statement, and then you're going to record your finalized one below. If you want to do it in the green box, that's cool, or if you'd rather, just for the sake of consistency, if you'd want to type it in the notes section so you have more room, that works too. Whatever works for you, go ahead and complete that. And last up, oh, you're done. Slide number 13, you made it. So now what y'all are going to do is connect your analysis of characterization to what you've already figured out about the theme in your constructed response. So you will go to that assignment in Google Classroom or Canvas to complete it. But awesome work, y'all.